And now, your official TigerBait live show with Mike Scarborough and Buddy Songy starts now.
All right, everybody, welcome in. Big edition of TigerBait Live tonight. I think we got a lot to discuss. Of course, LSU, South Carolina, we can rehash that a little bit. But moving forward, LSU, UCLA, 2:30 on Saturday, ABC. And, can LSU put together a more complete football game is the question of the show tonight. We're going to talk about that. Where do they go from here? And should be a big recruiting weekend as well. And we can talk about that if you'd like. And Monday, we got the start of LSU basketball practices. We get the women on Monday. And it's already here, that. And then fall baseball is going to be right behind them in several weeks. So welcome in, buddy.
Good to see you, Mike Scarborough. Of course, hope everybody out there doing well. I will tell you this on a Wednesday night. I think everybody in Tiger Nation is doing appreciably better tonight than if they had not won that game. We've got some Manda tidbits. We've got some discussion. Only a sample size of 3 games, but I've got some stats for you, and one of them is a little bit alarming. LSU scored 9 points in the first quarter in 3 games. You don't have to be a math genius to know that's 3 points a game. Got to start quicker. But, Mike, they're getting off the field on third down.
I think they are starting quick. They're just not getting – when they get down there, they're not getting any points.
But they're getting off the field better on third down and fourth downs. They're doing some things, but 3 big runs have skewed the stats. And so we'll talk about that. Caden Durham, we talked about his jets, his zip, his flash, his extra gear that we saw. And, man, John Emery came in and boom, north-south, no hesitation. Caden Durham was fantastic, made a lot of cuts to the outside, broke a lot of tackles. So a much-needed a great contribution from him, and I want to see him more. But this is a game, if LSU doesn't take care of UCLA and make them feel like they're wearing sissy blue uniforms Saturday afternoon, you got a 2-hour time change, you got the heat, and you got the revenge. There's no reason for LSU not to
what's the point spread right now? 20 what?
25, 26, whatever, 24, whatever it is.
I mean, they're bad.
Yeah, they're bad. They got beat 40. They gave up 42 at the Rose Bowl. So, look, everybody knows that, this is a non-conference game, and this was the payback from what happened when Coach O and LSU laid an egg over there. So I'm expecting them to put this thing together and get a little momentum. But if they don't take care of business Saturday afternoon, it once again poses up.
I think Coach Orgeron and maybe some in LSU Sports Information are still mad at or was it Darren DeQuano, one of them, for posting that video. I mean, what do you expect them to do? Anybody would have put that out. But anyways, Roger Ramjet, hey, Mike and Buddy, always enjoy the show. Saturday night would be a good time to practice run blocking. Go Tigers. Always glad to have Roger. He seems like he starts us off every week. If you're enjoying the show, please hit that like button, everybody, and share the show. We're going to be here until 9 o'clock. Let your fellow LSU fans know that we're live, and we're going to have a good discussion tonight, I think. Kelly Watley, good evening, Mike and Buddy. Love the show. Do y'all think that there will be a little bit more prepared at the start fast with more energy? Hope so. Go Tigers.
Yeah, look, that was a great atmosphere. Mike and I were having some fun before the game, and, of course, I picked Corso would pick the Gamecocks, and he put the Tiger helmet on. We thought Maneri would be introduced, just to rub it into a little bit. That didn't play out. Your favorite women's basketball coach after Coach Mulkey, Dawn Staley, was there. You didn't smile at that, on the Pick'em contest. And then, of course, McAfee going crazy again. That was a hostile.
McAfee. I'm done with that guy.
You are?
I think that act's tired.
Well, it's interesting. You got the old guy, and then you got McAfee, and they're bringing in people.
And actually, I think they need to make that set half the size it is. Yeah. I think it should be Reese, Saban, Herb Street. That's probably all you need.
Well, but
everybody else can hit the road.
Well, I know, but they're not going to go that way. But anyway, hostile atmosphere. Ron Higgins gave me a stat this week.
By the way, how can they think any 3 of those people are better than David Pollack?
Well, Taylor Pollock, as
I mean, they ran him off like he was a bad smell.
He's got some baggage with him.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, there you go.
But let's knock it around tonight, and we want to have a lot of interaction on that. But I've got some stats, and I still think we're treading water as to just how good. I see a lot of potential, but I see those young guys bringing the potential more than the older veteran guys. And whether or not they're going to get an opportunity, I'll tell you a perfect example to start off. Trey Green. I'm very disappointed. Guy's already caught a touchdown. Did you see him on Saturday?
Well,
you see PJ Woodland on Saturday? I mean, they've got to throw some of these.
But you just named some true freshmen. I mean,
they don't put an F on your head.
It's just like Pimpton. I mean, we thought we were going to see more out of him last year. Have you seen enough of him this year?
And so this hopefully is a game where we start to see more of those younger guys, because you're going to replace a lot of players on this football team next year.
All right, Andy Whitaker. I still don't know what to make of this team. I think they have the potential to be really good, but they keep getting in their own way. I don't know what the ceiling is on this team. I'll tell you what, in the second quarter, I was starting to hearken back to ESPN in the summer saying LSU's floor was 5-7, because that's what it looked like in the midway through the first half for sure. But what is really good, Andy, in your mind?
I think it's got to be week to week.
This is an 8-4 team. I don't see anything better than 8-4.
Well, but here's the scenario I'm going to play out for you. You've got to get better the next 2 weekends, and you're at home on TV. You have the home crowd. This is time now to cut out the bullshit, all the stupid penalties. Did you see how often they were snapping it with 1 or 2 seconds? Time to clean up everything. You got 2 guys that are showing, and you got 2 other guys now, and Jawan Johnson. I'm talking about running backs. Josh Williams scores a winning touchdown, but should he be in the game, or should that have been Caden Durham? Caleb Jackson went with Carl the Cat to go see a sponsorship from Coke, because he's got Coke bottle glasses. Maybe it'll help him see better vision. But potentially, Andy, I agree with you. But when are they going to start to put it together? I'm hoping momentum starts this weekend.
Dane Bergeron, let's go, Mike and Buddy.
Snake.
Spectrum, well care, Mike, a win is a win. All I got. Yeah, it is. And like I said last week, I think there's going to be you take it, especially on the road, any way you can get it. And there's going to be some more ugly wins, I think.
And look, South Carolina has proven that they're pretty darn good this year.
Brad Davey, good evening, Mike and Buddy. Look, Lenore Sellers is in. Says hit like beat Mike. There you go. Lenore Sellers in the house.
Sellers is the quarterback, of course, from South Carolina. And let's just get it out early.
Do you think that's really him?
No, of course not. But my point is that if he doesn't get hurt in the first half, Mike, at the end of the first half, that game could have had a different outcome. He was, and that's the other thing LSU got to clean up. Those long plays where they just blow an assignment and give up 65 yards on a pop. Somehow they got to eliminate those.
Hal Jubin says, Mike, do the women and men both start Monday? I don't know if they both start Monday. The women's team do. Obviously, Mulkey is more proactive in reaching out and press releases and inviting us in. I tend to think maybe later in the week or the following week we'll get Coach McMahon, because we did last year and it was a really good, a nice thing. So,
well, just tell them real quick. Press conference with the media at 1:00. At 1:30, every LSU fan that wants to go out there can watch practice, and that's this Monday. And I think they're giving away some stuff for the first week.
And there you go. I just put the picture up. That is your new LSU Women's Basketball team. The nice group photo that they posted on their Twitter today, and I'm excited to see that group and how well they come together.
Nobody covers LSU women's hoops like Mike Scarborough. You can take that. Well, you do. You've done a hell of a job, and the views, and of course it's going to be not the interesting season with Coach Mulkey and that cast of characters. Man, Flaugier and all of them. Let's be honest. That LSU brand is everywhere. I haven't had a chance to watch all of them.
I've only watched for the first episode. I got to finish it all finally. Brad David, did you hear the UCLA coach intro speech at Big Ten Media Days? He seems lost. I tell you what I did do, Brad. I watched his media availability today, and I wasn't too impressed with that guy.
No.
And he's kind of a jerk to the media. He said something, and maybe I'm taking him wrong, and I'm not, because I have a dry sense of humor. I understand Brian Kelly's dry sense of humor. I think BK is actually hilarious at times. But he was like, well, if you came to practice, you would know that. I mean, some of the things he said to the media, both Monday and today, is kind of a head. But look, he's obviously under a lot of pressure. They're not a good football team.
That guy's in over his head. I hate to say it.
Yep. No cojones, Keller. Fast start and getting the crowd in the game would be awesome. And no cojones, Kelly, of course, has changed his username. And look, buddy, you can see he actually changed his image. There's nothing in the wheelbarrow anymore.
Oh, okay. Well, look, we appreciate all those great viewers out there, and I will just say it again. You know, both Shane Beamer and Brian Kelly sent in plays to the SEC office that they didn't feel like were officiating and called the right way. And I got to take a little dive and chunk at Herb Street. I don't know what the hell's going on with people out there. But I grew up, and it was real simple. If you catch a football and put 1 foot inside the white line and you make a football move, it's a reception.
Yeah, when he said that, I was like, that's a reception. And I'm like,
that's a reception.
You knew it was.
Come on, if you were the quarterback and Fowler was a wide receiver, you would have said it. So all of a sudden they extend this thing going into after he hits the ball and controls the ball. Folks, if you have 1 foot down with possession, with the football move, it's a catch. The other thing,
and by the way, it was the ground that caused the fumble, but the play was already dead.
Way after the fact.
Yeah.
But here's the other thing. You know, they dove into the 3 power backs that the protectors, Bo Bordelon, went over him. That was supposed to be a penalty. They gave it to BK, and he said, I agree to disagree. Same thing with Shane Beamer. But look, if you watch the tape, the defensive end for South Carolina, LSU doesn't win the game if he does not try to F up, mess you up, Garrett Nussmeier. Cheap shot, reminded me of UCF with Burrow.
Dane Bergeron with a super chat. Thank you, Dane. There are too many fundamental mistakes, like not setting the edge on defense and wrapping up on tackles. That is coaching. Get rid of the sleeping pods and have them run stadiums until they learn. You know, there's some old school coaches that do things like you'll take helmet stickers off. You're not wearing that logo until you've earned it. You turn your shirts inside out. And some of them back in the day probably would take away nice things like different aspects of that facility. But
no, look, that's one of the perks of being an LSU football player. I don't think anybody should begrudge them for what they get. But I had Jamie Bison.
I just don't think they get the tackle that much anymore.
Well, but I was just getting ready to say, I had Jamie Bison who played with Orangeburg and Archer. Okay, 2 years with Orangeburg and 2 years with Archer. And I said, what would you do? He said, we would have tackled on Tuesday practice, we would have tackled on Wednesday practice, and we would have tackled on Thursday. I don't know how much tackling they do in season.
Well, and by the way, and
they've got to stop missing so many tackles.
And what years was Jamie Bice?
85, 86, 87.
Yes,
88.
so he and I are the same age.
Yeah.
There's a whole lot of football players, including a dear friend of mine who passed away a few years ago, full-blown CTE, former football player, played for Texas A&M, and donated his brain and did the whole thing that you've seen on HBO, and it's because of that.
Yeah.
That there's a whole wave of that particular generation. I think this generation of football players is going to have less of it. But there was a lot of damage done to kids at the middle school, junior high, high school level before they even got here. And Les Miles was one of those coaches that liked to do that as much as he could, that he could get away with. But now the NCAA's cracked down on it, and that's part of the reason why it's not just LSU. A lot of other schools have issues with tackling because they're limited by the NCAA on how much they can do it. And plus, you've got some guys out there who are undersized.
Well, and look, when I went back to the tape, Mike, Perkins had a chance at a sack in the end zone for a safety. They missed some tackles. Remember, they had Sanders go out. They had 5 guys out there. He avoided all of them coming back. I think all of us would say that the defensive stats would be appreciably better if they hadn't given up 3 big, long plays. and tackled a little bit better. And we'll see if the coach agrees with that tomorrow afternoon.
Yep.
Like you said, they don't tackle as much in practice the way the old guys do. But you realize Jamie Price, he will be 40 years, from when he started next year. So,
Dane, thank you for that super chat. And of course, we're brought to you each week by the official roofing company of TigerBait. And so, let's hear from Mike and Alex.
Hi, I'm Michael with Pride Roofing.
I'm Little Alex.
Have you been affected by wind, hail, and tornadoes on the North Shore? Well, we're here to help.
Insurance claim, no problem.
We also have a new franchise location in New Orleans.
We don't build projects, we build memories.
Though you know Pride Roofing is the official roofer at TigerBait.com.
In fact, notify TigerBait and we'll give you a free roof inspection. And on top of that, you get a free year subscription. Remember to call us at 855-PRIDE-16.
There it is, 855-PRIDE-16. Talk to Mike again. They're really working South Louisiana, Plaquemines Parish, Terrebonne, the Houma area, Thibodaux, that entire area got hit hard. And so give Pride Roofing a call. If you live in that area, you know anybody who's got issues. They still do the free tarping, 855-PRIDE-16. Tell them TigerBait sent you. And with that, you're going to get a year's subscription to TigerBait for free.
Residential, commercial, and metal roofs, Mike. I was going through my neighborhood today. I was looking at a guy who had done some metal roof work with Pride Roofing and was incredibly impressed and happy. Hey, last Wednesday night, all of you know that we had the hurricane coming in, and so many of you who were affected, give Mike and Alex and his team a great opportunity. They're great to work with. They do what they say they're going to do. They care, and they will sharpen the pencil competitive on the pricing. Ever since they bought Crown Metals, the metal roofing game has changed. Trust them. Give them an opportunity. You'll take great pride if you do business with Mike and Alex over at Pride. Once again, 855-PRIDE-16.
Brad David with a super chat. Thank you, Brad. Mike, what are your thoughts on the news report of the disconnect between Kelly and his players?
Now, when did that come out?
That was with a guy with SI, and what did he say? Industry sources tell him.
I mean, is this today or when?
That was 2 days ago.
2 days.
And then I think Rabelais kind of referenced it in his, and I think it's nonsense. But I will say this: Brian Kelly is absolutely a CEO coach. It's my belief, and of course, I'm not there to watch him pull in and out of the parking lot. But I don't think he lives in the building. I think they get their work done and they go home. And so, do I think BK in his spare time is playing pool or air hockey or shuffleboard up there in the players' lounge? No. If his work's done, he's heading home, and that's just the way it is. Position coaches are probably closer, but where did that come from? I don't trust that. And I don't know that journalist who put that out there. I looked him up. He looks like an Alabama guy to me.
Well, I will say this. It did alarm me, and I'm going to be honest with you. Coach Kelly referred to the team as they. I told you this about a week ago. Should have said we. You're an effing team. We. Not me, not they. We. And in that locker room after that game and that win, I think you saw Perkins and everybody else. I think he's a little different. Let's be honest. He's from Massachusetts. He's just learning the SEC culture and the SEC, what it brings now that these two juggernauts are coming in. This is not an easy job. I don't care how much money you're making, but it takes a while to get acclimated and fit here. And I'd like to see him say, we have to do something. And that's what these guys are looking for, in my opinion, not they. They don't have to go out and block and win. We. And so I know I got passionate about that, but I just think
I'd like to rehear that and see that.
Well, trust me. I heard.
No, I believe you. I just.
But I think that win Saturday did a lot.
I hear everything he does, and so the things that the national media will jump on this guy. And look, because when he was at Notre Dame, they jumped on him just as much because he was the head coach of Notre Dame.
But he's acting a lot better.
How many people like Notre Dame besides Notre Dame fans? Okay,
Yeah.
you know.
But he's come a long way. I'm just saying look, everybody knows with social media, you saw the celebration. I didn't think that was a coach and players that weren't getting along and was disconnected. If you saw the celebration,
Well, he's got 105 players. Is there a good chance that maybe 10% of the players don't like him?
yeah,
Probably
absolutely.
so.
Sure, and that's not bad. You can't have all of them like him.
No.
Not a likable business.
I mean, there wasn't a whole lot of there was probably more than 10% that didn't like Saban when he was here.
Oh, absolutely.
But now when you talk to them and they're older, ask them what they think now.
Well, and that's that respect, and that's what you got to have. You got to have respect, and I think these next 2 weeks, if you take care of business, get everybody healthy, and can we all say a little prayer to get Chris Hilton back? Have you heard anything lately on that? I'd love to see that.
No, I haven't.
You know anything?
To me, he's a lanyard kid. He's lanyard. If he gives you something, it's lanyard.
Okay.
But
well, he looked good before he got the bone bruise. All I was going to say.
he always looks good before he gets hurt.
Yeah.
Hang
in there, Chris.
I'm not going to go as far as somebody else in the media, but to me, again, if he gives you something, it's gravy. But do I say LSU can rely on him? Absolutely not.
Yeah.
And that's not a knock on him. It's just we're 3 years now.
Caden Durham, by the way, leading LSU in rushing on 11 carries. Thought he was fantastic. Jawan Johnson scored the week before. Trades Green scored the week before. Mike, I'm hoping to see some of those younger, talented guys on offense and defense maybe get a few more reps this weekend.
Yep. I mean, I would love for Chris Hilton to break out and have a whole year where he's, catching a half a dozen balls a game and big plays. And
if he scores this weekend, I'm gonna call into the postgame show.
Well, I'm cheering for him. But Rodney Scott with a super chat. Matt Moscona from AFR put that nonsense to test. Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, look, I'm not going to comment, but also that said, reporters threw out that he was going to go to Michigan if they offered him. You remember that?
Yeah.
So we all get things right. We all get things wrong. That's just part of the business.
Michael Duyon. Will we hear from Kelly? Yes, 4:45 tomorrow, which means about 5:15 to 5:25.
By the way, were you the winner of the contest? I didn't bring the Manda, but you won the Manda Pick'em contest. And this is how much fun we have waiting for him because, look, it's 4:45. We walk it in. We hear the guys practicing. So we know it's not going to be 4:45, but you got to get there in case it was because he was early one week. But all of a sudden, so we're all gambling.
I said 5:22.
You said 5:22. I think I said 5:01 or whatever. And so all of a sudden he walks in. He goes, "What? You guys are gambling on when we go?"
He walked in and I said 5:23. I was off by a minute, and he heard me, and he goes, "What are y'all wagering in here?"
But I was going to give him a golf ball tomorrow, but I decided against it. But it was going to be a top flight because I thought that was a top flight comeback. But Mike, 17 down. This has happened a majority of the times, especially on the road. You can't keep putting yourself in that deeper hole. You just can't.
Ola Tiger, does Buddy still do a daily show? He absolutely does. 1 to 3 Monday through Friday. In order to hear it, you got to go to either the Apple Play Store or the Android Google's Play Store and download the app. And what's the app?
Pelican Broadcasting. And go into Pelican Sports Radio. If you're a member of TigerBait, Mike's got a link right there on the site. Yeah, but once you have the Pelican app, 1 o'clock, you hit the radio icon and then click play on the player. And he has Jamie Bice today. Of course, more guests. Matt Mock tomorrow in the second hour. You have Nagy tomorrow? Nagy and Matt Mock tomorrow. And then all right, good. Eddie Fuller on Friday. There you go. So kind of former player week. Especially during baseball season. You'll have Todd Walker and Ben McDonald and all of them. Yeah. All right, let's see. Andy Whitaker. The only thing I don't like about BK is his white lies. It's not a big deal, but when he says things like, no one had us beating SC, it's like, come on, man. Well, Vegas sure did. Vegas had that spread start out. I said it was a pickup, and I was right. Yeah, you did. Well, and look, everybody knows that USC has looked pretty darn good. So maybe
LSU doesn't win that game if Sellers doesn't get hurt.
Yeah, you mean last weekend?
Yeah.
I think a lot of people agree with that. We'll never know, thank goodness.
And like Preston was calling out their schedule to me on the postgame show, if Sellers is healthy and that defense of theirs stays healthy, and who they've got at home and who they've got on the road, I think South Carolina is an 8 or 9 win football team.
Mm-hmm. I agree with
that. I think, and I do like Coach Beamer.
Yeah, he's got the hot seat this year. He needed that game. He wanted that game so bad.
Well, I think South Carolina fans need to be patient because for them to do what they did at Kentucky, and then the next week Kentucky takes Georgia to a point, and then give LSU all they want. LSU is lucky to get out of there.
All right, but look, it doesn't matter how lucky or how ugly. It's a W.
Yep. Paul Escon says, Buddy always has Coach Pete on Fridays at 2:35. It's radio gold.
Pete will join us on Friday. He's been around the game for a long time. Does the radio gig for Arkansas State again this year, and they played Michigan. Mike, Texas, let's bring it up real quick. We all had this discussion 3 or 4 years ago. At what point would Arch Manning and the like go on? I got to tell you something. I haven't seen Arch play in a couple of years. Of course, he's been at Texas. We know about the NIL deal. But what blew me away is that, man, he took off. I did not know he had that foot speed. Now, I don't know if he runs 4.6 or whatever, but they said he was running 20-something miles an hour, 67 yards. But they didn't miss a beat. Ewers has a propensity to get hurt. But did you think Arch?
I saw him in high. I saw him in high school, and if you, I would have estimated him at a 5 flat 40. I didn't think he had. I didn't think he had wheels. We filmed him several times, and
but that's the point, though. He's appreciably gotten better here, physically, mentally, and you know he was going to be.
But that was always the thing. Like I never thought that he should have been a 5-star, the #1 player in the country, but you absolutely pegged him as a 4-star just because of his pedigree, his family, how long he's been around quarterbacks, and then how he would mature. And
Dr. Butler, who's one of our great loyal listeners here, of course, worked at LSU and Texas, kind of gave us a heads up. And Texas #1, Georgia dropped to 2, still 6 of the first 7 in the SEC. And there are some big games, but I was impressed. That's the first time I've watched Arch in a while. And I know it was cupcake and not much opposition, but interesting to see how long him and Ewers are going to be together. Obviously, he comes back and gets the job, but Arch impressed me.
Rodney Scott with a super chat. Thank you for that, Rodney. One player that took a disliking to Saban was Ryan Clark. Well, Kyle Williams, Trev Falk. There was many. There was a lot of them that didn't.
Well, Trev Falk is the president of that club to me.
Yeah.
No, because he had a decision to make whether he comes back for his senior year or not. And because of that relationship, he chose to go pro, and it just didn't work. But he's had a great career as a coach. And I'm sure that he probably, Mike, realizes what you said earlier in the show. He probably realizes that the immaturity that he had, he didn't understand what Saban was trying to get out of him maybe 10, 15 years, 20 years later. It happens.
There you go. Genesis of Lafayette. Folks, you need to check out the new GV70, the GV80, and everything that's out there. And as you can see on the screen, 3.4% financing for 60 months. That's good till the end of the month. They've got a lot of great rebates, $2,000 off the GV80 on the 2024s. There's still some 2024s on the lot. And give Genesis of Lafayette a call. Nobody does it better than them. There's a reason why they sell more Genesis than anybody in the state of Louisiana. So for the very best buyer experience of a new luxury SUV or sedan, set up your test drive at 877-856-2961. Of course, right there on Johnson Street in Lafayette. And please tell them TigerBait sent you. And if you're looking for a great salesman, ask for my buddy Blake Mesh, or you can talk to Jaron Guidry, the sales manager at Genesis of Lafayette. And they're huge LSU fans over there. And I also need to talk about Stroube's, folks. talk about one of your better steakhouses in all of Louisiana. Proudly brought to you our shows this year by Stroube Seafood and Steaks, 107 3rd Street, downtown Baton Rouge. Stroube's prides itself on providing 5-star dining experience for a reasonable price. They're locally owned. Ownership's right there in the building. They've taken the highest level of pride in providing you service and the greatest food imaginable. Full menu of specialty meats, including USDA Prime Black Angus, 100% certified Wagyu New York strip. For those looking for something outside of red meat, they offer items such as dry-aged pork chop, black truffle lobster, pasta, redfish, and much more. Book your reservation online tonight at Stroubes.com, and please tell them that TigerBait sent you when you head in over there. Beautiful restaurant, downtown Baton Rouge.
And your favorite over there is the
Cowboy. That Cowboy ribeye that was right there on the screen.
I had a Saints fan, went over to Stroube's, and after that ass kicking that they gave to Dallas, ordered the Cowboy ribeye. I told him about the pork chop. You can't go wrong, folks. Both of them are fantastic. But how about the Saints?
Did he like the Cowboy?
Oh, he loved it. But he also, you know what he loved even more? Clint Kubiak calling plays instead of Pete Carmichael. It can't hold a candle to this guy. I hope the Saints can hold on to him for a couple of years. He's going to be a head coach, but they're a different football team with his leadership and play calling.
This is a good one. Jeremy Franks. Hey, Mike and Buddy, I love the show, but who do y'all think will win against Bama and Georgia next week?
It's going to be a good one. You know, I mean, look, when you have nobody, Bama is not, I mean, Wisconsin, no disrespect to Wisconsin, that quarterback got hurt and he's out for the year. But I want to see him line up.
Man, I don't have a take on that one, to be honest with you. Now, I mean, that's a good question.
Yeah. Right now, I'm leaning towards Bama a little bit, to be honest.
I kind of am too, but yeah. I'm not sure.
It's 2 weeks away, 10 days away.
Michael Duyon, I'm shocked seeing Howard as third string, Holstein doing impressive things at Pitt, and Arch looking like a superstar in waiting. Dane Bergeron, Buddy, I still dislike Frank's running back rotation. He needs to go with the running back that is hot that game. Corey Raymond is still not as good as DB coach as Cooper. Well, Caden Durham, man, he sure did look to me like Justin Vincent is a freshman, his first year.
That was a great comparison. You gave me that today, and I didn't think about that. But
I mean, he looked just like him.
Yeah.
Now, Justin's a little taller, but just the way they run,
speed,
the way that Justin looked that first year, and
had a monster.
And what did Saban do? He was smart enough to keep feeding him, and he was he was MVP of the SEC championship game, right?
I think so, yeah.
And what was he? Was he all freshman?
Oh yeah. I mean, look,
but was he like SEC freshman of the year, or
I think so?
He was on the all SEC freshman team.
And look, I have to agree. I had at least 15 people tell me after the game they wanted to see 29 more. Frank, everybody was saying that to me after the game. Well, if you have Josh Williams in the game, maybe it fooled them, thinking that they were going to pass protect because he's much better at that instead of running it. Great to see Williams get in the end zone. But, man, Caden Durham has done something. And now we're going to get on Joe a little bit. We saw this, a ton of it, and I don't know why we're not seeing more. Dink and dunk to the running backs on the flares, the bubbles, all the little short stuff. You got to get Caleb Jackson a little momentum. Dump it off to him. But Caden Durham is a great pass receiver as well. So would love to see more backs catching the ball out the backfield. But as you know, Frank is going to want him to pass protect, and I think he did, according to the grades on PFF. Caden Durham got potential, Mike.
Texas Tiger, this game is a trap game. We better be ready to bring it on the field. No stupid celebrations for routine plays.
Well, Texas Tiger, if they struggle this week, it could be a bad omen. I'll almost say. This team, when you talk about the heat, the 2-hour time difference, how soft they are, this better be Domination City. It's right there for the taking. Now go get it.
Hakeem Batiste, this secondary needs to play better, especially the safety position between Ryan and Gilbert. Hope Toviano gets back in the quarterback rotation along with Woodland.
Well, Toviano is playing now where Harold Perkins is playing. And, Mike, everybody wanted Perk to move, so they don't call it the star. He's a strong side outside linebacker, the Sam. But they did move Major Burns back a little bit. And as we know, Jordan Gilbert actually had a good game here. He had 25 snaps and made 3 tackles. Had only hit 2 tackles going into the game. Sage Ryan is not the most physical guy. I just think if you would quit giving up those big plays and look, probably that game last week was a little bit too big and physical for P.J. Woodland.
Rodney Scott, the last thing I remember about Justin Vince is when he got jacked up by Patrick Wilson, the Ole Miss game. Well, Durham got hit like that Saturday. He got stood up and knocked back on his back on one of those runs.
Well, I'm going to remember the great things about Justin Vincent before that. But
yeah.
Look, what we're trying to make the point is that there is now talent, Mike.
Look, he can run. He can hit the outside. He's got speed. He's got great vision. And they just need to keep, I mean, look, I'm not saying that they absolutely just reward upperclassmen, but I mean, BK said as much. They know what they got now in Durham. They're going to keep going to him.
And Jawan Johnson, want to see him get some reps. That's the positive of this weekend. You could see a lot of the freshman guys. Once again, you're replacing 4 O-linemen after this year. I would love to see that second unit O-line get 20, 30 plays.
Go Mike and Buddy, says Texas Tiger. Thank you for that. Y'all hit the like button. And if you haven't hit that subscribe button, please do me a favor and hit that. And I also want to thank you all for those of you that have hit that subscribe button. We hit 32,000 subscribers on Saturday. And that's a really big milestone. And we've been growing like crazy. And it's this show and the channel is thanks to all of you. Dane Bergeron, wasn't JV the MVP of the BCS game as well? I thought that was Malk. Am I wrong? Y'all let me know if I'm wrong. Y'all look it up. But
look, no, I mean,
I thought
Matt Flynn and
but JV Justin Vincent was the SEC championship game MVP. I remember that.
That was in 3. But Flynn and the big lineman from Texas or Florida or whatever, Ricky Jean-Francois was the MVP and the one when Les won it. And so, hey, look. We all know Matt Mark. We all know the championship quarterbacks. Now you add in Joe Burrow, and then, of course, Jaden Daniels, who won the Rookie of the Year first week. Mm-hmm. Nuss, I got to ask you about what you thought. Better than you thought?
I think he's been everything. It may be better. He's better than I thought.
I thought so too.
And so a lot of people want to say, "Oh, he's not this man." This is his first time being the starter. If you're not excited about what you're seeing right now and the numbers he's putting up, I don't know what you expect. You're just being totally unrealistic. I mean, we were talking about him having a junior year like Burrow had his junior year, and Daniels had his as far as production and ability to move the offense. Well, he's right there, and he's in some ways better than better. I mean,
10 touchdowns so far, 2 INTs.
So what does he look like next year if he continues? Well,
they threw it a little bit more now, but 10 touchdowns, 2 INTs. 69% completion. And now he did get baited and gave up an INT, and of course had the pick 6. That was a big play in the game. But I think he's coming along really, really well. I know you talked about it, and other people talked about it. Want to see him run a little bit on some run pass options. I'm content him not getting hurt. We just saw what happened with Tua, and Tua's got a history with concussions, but I don't think you want to put Nussmeier in harm's way too often this year.
No, but if he's got open field, take it. Yeah. He already shows that he slides much better than Burrow did, and he's right there with Daniels and doing the same. So
interesting to see if it gets out of hand, who will be that second quarterback Saturday afternoon.
Colin Davis, who you already commented on, I apologize, but what are your thoughts? Yeah, I did comment on it earlier. Just maybe rewind a little bit. Maybe 10, 15-minute mark is where it was at.
On what?
Talking about the article on Kelly in the locker room.
Okay.
And Texas Tiger with a super chat. Thank you. Need to take care of business, get our number 2 quarterback some playing time. Offensive line not quite ready for SC, and Nuss almost couldn't have gotten hurt. It's going to be curious to see what he might do with that offensive line. He might be ready to make some moves there on the interior and try some things.
Well, look, you got to get your second guys some reps. As we all know, Will Campbell and Emory Jones going out pros, and Dellinger and Miles Frazier both graduating. So you're going to have 4. Look, we talked about this in the report. Sometimes we hit on these reports, sometimes we don't. But we told you DJ Chester was going to have some growing pains. We said there'd be some fumbled snaps. Said there'd be some snaps when Nuss wasn't ready. Said there'd be some INTs. I mean, it's just natural. But DJ has got to get better and better these next 2 games because everybody knows Ole Miss, Alabama, Texas A&M, Oklahoma. I mean, those are 4 juggernauts, and so you got to get a little more consistency. I think Chester's done all right, but he's got a long way to go before he's up to the level of the 4 guys he's playing with.
S. Young says, if we were going to run on 3rd and short, move Emory Jones to guard.
Well, that was the plan if they'd have had Lance Hurd, of course, who's starting left tackle at Tennessee right now.
Yeah. Tiger Mark, yeah, we kind of touched on this earlier. Good evening, guys. Any word on Chris Hilton's return? I think his return, he will bring us a much added deep threat. With Caden Durham running, it's pick your poison for other teams. I'm hoping he gets back.
Yeah. Pulling for you, number 3.
Yeah. Yeah, he was. JV was 2003 BCS MVP. There you go.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, then was he both? Who was the SEC championship game MVP?
I think it was him too. I don't know.
He got both?
Yeah.
All right. Dane Bergeron says they need to run more big cat in practice. That will help in short yardage.
Dane bringing back some old school big cat. He talked about Frank's running back rotation. And then he had one other point. Look, it's an evolving team with new coaches. I still don't think the fan base in 3 games has realized this is Joe's first big gig at this stage with so many millions carrying. Same thing with Blake Baker. This is a big job. Yeah, he had it at Missouri in 2 years, but he's getting paid a lot of money and he's got expectations, as you know. And then you talk about Nuss. This is only his 3rd or 4th start. So the future looks good. The potential's there. Just need to start cleaning some things up here in weeks 4 and 5.
H-Town Creole. Sloan needs to call Kubiak to learn how to scheme better to help that offensive line, giving us some time to go deep.
Man, Kubiak has done a fantastic job, and I would love to see Joe Sloan, in the offseason.
Yeah, they've got me tuning into the Saints now for the first time in a long time.
But, in the offseason, they'll go visit pro places. Man, 60 miles, I would go.
I mean, how many games did you have the Saints winning preseason before?
Saints.
7, 8?
No, yeah, it was 9 or 8. Yeah.
They're already 2-0 and wearing people out.
Yep. And Clint Kubiak is using all of the elements. Kamara has been fantastic, using Taysom Hill the right way, getting everybody involved. And look, that offensive line is holding up long enough to let Carr. The Saints scored 15 consecutive times to open the season. 15 straight possessions. They scored touchdowns the first 15 possessions of the year. That is the craziest stat I've ever seen.
Tiger fans, I'm going to tell you the best place to go to get all your LSU fan gear, Alumni Hall. Shop their store off Blue Bonnet and Perkins Row, or shop online at alumnihall.com. They've got it all. The new Nike gear, Champion, Johnny O, Omni Reserve. By the way, that Johnny O stuff is really good stuff. Peter Millar, Southern Tide, and more. All the nice polos you're looking for. And I tell you what, the photos on the website do not do them justice. You got to go over there and try on those Johnny O and those Peter Millars. They feel like silk on you. So get over there, shop with them, and you can earn rewards on future purchases with their Hall Pass Rewards program. I have this discount code to share with my friends and subscribers. So when you shop, use the code TigerBait, all one word, TigerBait, in-store or online, and you'll get 10% off your purchase. Go shop with my friends at Alumni Hall and use the code TigerBait to save. And
I have done that before.
There you go. And I tell you what else we need to do. Let's hear from Manda.
You can't smell it, but you can almost taste it. And whether it's for a family get-together or a game day feast, having Manda in the mix always sounds good. For 3 generations, their quality meats and original seasonings have made Manda a Louisiana legend and made their family sausage Louisiana's family sausage. Manda Fine Meats. The flavor says it all.
There it is. Manda's a Louisiana institution, buddy.
3 Manda quick, spicy tidbits. Number one, LSU getting off the field on third down. Mike, last year, they couldn't get off the field. 35% is all they're converting on LSU on third down. 1 out of 5, 20% on fourth down. You know these are short yardage, a lot of times inside the red zone, inside the 10 and the 5. So 20% getting off the field on fourth down. And guess who doesn't have a sack? The Manda Distribution Center says everybody is going to be happy because Harold Perkins, the spicy tidbit of the week, gets his first and second sack. Don't forget, have your Manda ready for game day and as well in the stadium. It is the official smoked sausage of LSU athletics. Are you buying it? Perkins takes out some frustration on UCLA with a couple of sacks. Are you buying?
I'll give you one. I'm not going to give you two.
Right. If he gets one, you get sausage. If he gets two,
all right,
you still get sausage.
Green onion.
Okay.
All right. Jeremy Franks, do y'all think Kim Mulkey will win the national championship this season? I want to see him. I will tell you what I am hearing. Don't sleep on true freshman Jada Richard from LCA.
Really?
Yep.
Well, you know how important the point guard is.
Yep. Don't sleep on her. Didn't have a lot of fanfare. Wasn't on Hoop Girls, top 20 and all that stuff. So I'm looking forward to seeing her.
Well, I think
I've been hearing some buzz about her.
Well, Del Rosario and Samaya Smith, how are they going to perform? Because LSU's got the talent. They've got the guards and all that. But Del Rosario's got to play a little more consistent. And like Coach Mulkey says, realize you're 6'5" and you can dominate, and want to see Samaya Smith come back.
If you ask me right now, I just, knowing what's coming back, what they brought in without really knowing. Then you got a chemistry question. How do they come together? I think maybe kind of like last year, Elite Eight.
We'll see.
But you never know. I mean, you're not going to be running into Caitlin Clark anymore. So
should be a great year.
Yep. Chuck E. Greetings, Mike. You chilled since the last show. Go Tigers. Love your show. Thank you. Yeah. I started that post-game show Saturday. And I think after a few minutes, I had to catch myself because I had to remember that they actually won the game. But yeah, that was, man. Had they not won that game, boy, that could have really gotten been an ugly post game like everybody else's post game.
Well, I'll tell you this: I have seen the replay. I haven't seen it continuous, but I saw the first half one day and I saw the second half another day. That was a 4-hour game with an incredible amount of emotional ups and downs.
You saw the number it drew, right? It was the second most watched game.
That was at 11 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, the national viewing audience watched a fun game, but it wasn't fun if you were a South Carolina or an LSU fan.
And so with all the replays and all the calls, but hang in there, Tiger Nation. It's going to look better after you see it. There's something, Mike, about the emotion and whether you're drinking or whatever during the game, watching at the tube. When you see it the second time and you're calm, it looks a little bit different.
Yep. All right, let me scroll up here. Mark J., the absolute best call that Coach Kelly made was to defer to the second half. Thank God.
I'm going to ask him. Do you know if that was asked on the teleconference? I know it wasn't asked.
I didn't get to hear the teleconference this morning.
Well, I'm going to ask him about that and ask him, because he said there's two types of decisions he makes: gut feeling and analytics. And when he was justifying taking the ball, he said that was a gut feeling. Third or 4th and 3 or whatever down by the goal line is usually the card with analytics. But I kind of like the way it played out. I know Carolina scored in 5 plays, but LSU had the ball and scored late and had a chance to do it again at the kickoff. I just think you should defer.
Yeah.
But it does put your defense on the field first, and there's some disadvantages. But most coaches generally defer. Score right before half, and then you get the ball to kick off second half. That's a 2-for-1.
Brad David, I'm worried the Saints' hot start is fool's gold. Dennis Allen is not a coach. Yeah. Dane Bergeron, Mike, Dr. Daniels and I were on the Whiskey and Wine post-game show. Dr. Daniels got a long workout due to the length of the game.
Oh.
Yeah.
I could imagine Dr. Daniels and Dame were quite close for that 4-hour time frame. Seriously, folks, the game started at 12 minutes after 11, and it was 3:12 when that puppy ended.
S. Young, I don't like Tyree Adams at guard. Move Jones and let Tyree play right tackle. Yeah, JV was MVP in both games. How did I not remember that?
Yeah. I can still remember the run around the right end, in Atlanta. That was special.
Mm-hmm.
I think Peterman picked him up after that touchdown. Remember Stephen Peterman?
Yep. Hakeem Batiste, Durham Jackson, and Jawan Johnson should get the carries from here on out. I love number 18, but the younger backs are more explosive and impact than Williams at this point.
Listen, Josh Williams exemplifies all the good
You
things.
said Stephen Peterman. You know who Stephen Peterman's friends with? Kid Rock.
Okay.
Kid Rock mentioned him in an interview.
Right.
Talking about how he's good friends with Stephen Peterman,
Right.
former LSU offensive lineman.
Back to
great guy, by the way, Stephen Peterman.
Yeah. Josh Williams, though, I understand the comment, but he's going to get some loyalty reps and wearing 18. He's everything that you want in a young man, a teammate, and but look, I agree with, especially in crunch time. When you got to score a winning touchdown, it worked out this time. But man, you got to use some of that speed some of those guys are bringing, and let's see if Caleb Jackson can finally see the field a little bit better, see the hole a little bit better.
Jeremy Frank's college game day might be in Baton Rouge against Ole Miss. I think they will be. I think that's probably so.
Yeah.
Don't you think?
I don't know. Just depends.
Yeah. What do you have? The SEC crew this week? They're a little SEC.
I think there's a lot of good games on. SEC Nation is coming.
Yeah.
This week.
Yeah. And so,
if you like the Laura Rutledge, she is the reason to go watch the show, not those other knuckleheads.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. I got, hold on. There we are. If you're in town for the UCLA game, head over to Capital City Grill. You'll probably see me at brunch on Sunday. I was there 2 weeks ago, and I'm probably going again this Sunday. It's a great brunch at a great price. And so check them out at 100 Lafayette Street, downtown Baton Rouge. Capital City Grill is your ideal lunch and dinner stop for your casual dining experience, featuring a variety of sandwiches, burgers, seafood, pasta, steaks, with almost everything priced at $30 or below, and for an affordable experience. And so celebrate a Tigers win at their Sunday morning brunch. That's from 11 to 2. But they're still open to 3 o'clock for everything else. And so a fantastic brunch menu. I had the French dip sandwich a couple of weeks back. I went for brunch and ended up going with a sandwich. The missus got their club sandwiches, was out of this world, and they had the best carrot cake on earth. So
hey, you can watch the Saints too. Saints play Philadelphia on Sunday at noon, so that's a 2-for-1 right there.
And they've got the whole place loaded with TVs. So
always consistent. They believe in being consistent. It's always good. I've never had anybody tell me that was a bad
always
deal.
a great meal.
Always.
And it's a fairly fair price. You get a great deal in the man, their French fries are awesome too. All right. I agree, but I have no idea how Marty McGee can have the job they have. Both are terrible. I don't get to see that show much.
It's a folksy type of show, and look, those guys have been in the media for a long time, so I don't want to.
Kind of has a little NASCAR feel to it.
Yeah, it does. But I've never met Marty and Ryan. I would imagine they're good guys. But like I said, Laura Rutledge is the only reason I'd ever tune into that.
H-Town Creole, number 18, not in the backfield means Nuss will get killed. Josh is the beast blocking on that team.
But he had a few misses in this game on pass protect, and he's had a few. So, look, this is why LSU fans have to be excited. Will Campbell hadn't played his best football yet. Neither is Josh Williams. There is a lot of potential, a lot of room for growth, but Josh Williams is historically the best pass pro protector on that team.
Brian Turner with a super chat. I badly wanted to get Jerome Miles out of Utah. He committed to Southern Cal today. he is a first rounder in the making. You know, he got that LSU offer, and I kept kind of following him to see if he was ever going to really show a lot of any interest in LSU or visit. And it just the interest in LSU just never really materialized.
Where's he out of?
Utah.
Okay.
And that's a hard state to get kids out of.
It is.
Jeremy Franks, last time we played UCLA, I was not happy. We should have beaten them in the Rose Bowl.
Man, I remember like it was yesterday, about 10:30 in the morning, there's a video, and the coach is walking down the street with his friend on the side of him, and people went crazy. You remember that?
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, as we know, whether it was Darren or Jacques, that comment about the sissy blue shirts, and O's just trying to fire up his team. But man, that was ugly. They put a physical whip, and that's another question I think we're all going to see answered here, Mike, in the next month. How physical can LSU be at the line of scrimmage? You've got 2 weeks to get better. But Ole Miss spent a lot of money on defense, and we know that they're better there. Alabama's really good at the line of scrimmage. A&M's good at the line of scrimmage. Oklahoma's good at the line of scrimmage. So physicality and how they can continue to play with more physicality is something I'm watching moving forward. But you just ought to light up and out-talent these next two opponents.
You think they cover the spread?
I do. I think they're going to get into the low 50s, and I'm thinking something like 52-17.
I'm starting to think they're going to cover the spread too.
Yeah.
And
I've got a sack or two. Hey, let's split the difference. Let's go with Perk for a sack and a half on Saturday.
All right, there you go. Anything you want to add on the way out?
Major Burns made a big play when he was blitzing. Want to see Jair Brown and J.K. Johnson get a few more reps, see what they look like. Deshaun Spears at safety. You're going out there. Everybody knows it's 2:30, whatever, kick. It's going to be hot. I think 90 to 92 at kick. Expected LSU to do better. Only 9 points in the first quarter in the first three games. I would hope that they would start appreciably quicker than that. And as always, don't get crazy. Don't get upset about the traffic. You know, there's some traffic. When are they ever going to finish the plan where it actually comes together and it doesn't take you? How long does it take? Well, of course, on a home game, that kind of impacts you guys because that's you got so much to put up on the site before you.
Yeah, I hate River Road.
Yeah,
it's always been good to me.
But be careful, drive safe, and appreciate each and every one of you.
All right, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. If you enjoyed the show, again, please hit the like button. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell. We're constantly loading stuff on the YouTube channel. We got more. We'll be out at BK tomorrow, and we're going to be in some high school football stadiums again this weekend. So head over to TigerBait.com and subscribe for our premium content. $1, you can try us out. I think you'll enjoy the website. And thanks for tuning in. We'll see you again next week. And post-game show, of course, early Sunday evening, we'll be here. Good night.